Alright, so I don't know if you can see over there, but I got a little Hana, a little German Shepherd puppy, and basically I got this this little small cage outdoor kennel from Lowe's, and what I wanted to do was go ahead and basically build a kind of a raised deck that would also allow, you know, urine and feces to be easily washed, you know, either through or, you know, through to the bottom or go through to the bottom and that kind of stuff. And so we had these Coca-Cola, let's see, well, some of them, I know some of them say Coca-Cola on them. Okay, so this, the bottom here is not, it doesn't have like hard corners. It's relatively smooth. Actually, I can see, let's see how that looks from the back. No, yeah, that's the same. But we had these, and like I said, this is not really a too harsh of a surface. I've seen other people on YouTube that have, you know, built stuff similar to this, and I don't think it would be too hard on the dog's feet, or if the dog wants to lay down on it or whatever. But either way, so we figured we'd go ahead and utilize those because they didn't cost us anything. And so basically what I did here, just to kind of give you a rundown real quick of how I decided to incorporate this. First of all, just so everybody knows, I'm building this upside down. And so the reason being is so that, you know, one of the issues that I've faced, if these things were just completely square, and what I mean by completely square is if they didn't have this edge that recesses down like this, if this just went straight across, you know, just straight down, this would have really been a lot easier to do. But since this does have those edges, I had to kind of figure out a way to be able to you know, get all these things close together. You know, I mean, because if it was just straight down, you could just basically put boards in between them, and then, you know, you'd be done, like straight up and down boards. But anyways, so what I decided to do to take care of that issue is lay these 2x4s down, so that the 2x4 will be basically, and that's why I'm building it upside down, so the top of the 2x4 is level. I'm sorry, I got this upside down. So the top of the 2x4 is basically level with this, you know, the top of the surface there on the other side. So that's why it has to be built upside down, for any, you know, anybody that's not, you know, aware of that. And so basically how I started this, since you do have that recessed surface, trying to measure and figure out, let me go ahead and move these so you can kind of see, trying to measure and figure out what you know, how long your boards needs to be, can be a little tricky, because for instance, if I were to, let's say I just take, say I just take this like this, and then I just throw a board up next to it, I mean, that's fine. But since that surface recesses in, you know, that board could have a tendency to want to pull in that way. So, or for instance, since I'm laying these flat, I can't just go with the measurement between here, because this is a different measurement than this. So needless to say, what I did was, these are privacy pickets. They're about I think they're about 5.5 inches wide. I love these things. You know, you can use them for all kinds of stuff other than just building fence. As you can see here, it makes a great, it's basically going to make a great surface around the edge for this. But I didn't have these right away, so basically what I did at first, I just went ahead and laid this down, kind of buttered it up against this so it would stay. Then I pushed this up against it again. No, especially this lumber being thinner, you know, if I push that too hard, it's going to want to lay over, and then that's not going to be able to give me accurate measurements for what I need. So anyways, I went ahead, I wanted to get my width first. And so I went ahead and put that one down in there. Then basically put this board up in, put this board up in, buttered them up there, and then let me grab my speed square here. And then basically, in order, if you notice, the two pieces going here are solid, so they run all the way the distance. All of these pieces on the edges and in the middle and out there on the edges are cut to fit in here. So so in order to find this dimension, basically what I did was I went ahead, you don't even have to have all three, you just make sure you got one there, you've got the outside edge relatively straight up. Go ahead and put this one in there, butt it up against the 2x4 there, make sure they're both butted up against the way they need to be. Then go ahead and put this on the outside and take your speed square, you know, make sure you're on a level surface, but take your speed square and basically make sure that this board is square to the floor, or perpendicular to the floor, I guess you'd say. And then once you know you've got it square like that, you've got everything here pushed nice and tight, this is, you know, you've got this good over here as well, then you can go ahead and actually pull this measurement. Get your tape measure from here to the wall, and then once you've done that, you don't have to measure every single one of them, because you want this thing to be relatively square. So basically, once you got that measurement, you can cut all 4 of those. The middle is the same way. Make sure you got both your boards in there, make sure you're buttered up good, you're square. You have both the boards pulled tight against the middle, and then go ahead and pull the measurement there, and then that you can go ahead and cut those 2 from that same measurement as well. And so what I did in order to figure out how long these were going to be was, once I had everything cut, all the outside pieces cut and in place, I could put all these things in place. Then I went ahead and just cut a couple 45s real quick right here. Made sure that I used the speed square first to make sure I was square, you know, and then went ahead and put the 45 on here, you know, put a screw down in here, put a screw in from the back, and then that held that in place, put that over there, held that in place, made sure I was all nice and tight everywhere. And then once I came over here, and now keep in mind, these 2 boards were 8-foot boards, so they were sticking out this way. So went ahead and just let them stick out, just made sure everything was tight over here, and went ahead and took this board and placed it right on top, and it's the same thing. So once I had placed it right on top of these 2 boards that were sticking out, again, if I pushed this wrong, I could have pushed it down up, you know. You're just going to take your speed square again, you're going to stick it right here on the back side on top of the board that's sticking out. Make sure you're nice and, you know, you're nice and square there. Do the same thing over here, make sure you're nice and square here. And then once you've got those 2 lines that are square, you're just going to take your pencil right in here and trace on these 2 boards, and then that'll tell you where to cut those. And then once you cut those, then you got this. So basically, this is not put together yet. I'm going to go ahead and get it put together, and then once I get it put together, because I'll explain how this is going to work. Basically, the nice thing about how it's set up right now is I can remove any of these as they sit right now, in order to be able to get in there and screw down what I need to screw down and all that kind of stuff. Once I'm ready to finalize everything and have them stay in place, basically there's going to be 2x4s that will be that paper on the end of that one. Turn it around. There's going to be 2x4s that will be run across here like this, and I have about an inch above the crate here to be able to run a screw in, and then the same thing over on that side. And I've got other ways I'm going to stabilize it, but basically that's what's going to be what basically locks those little crates into place, and also supports the weight of them and all that kind of stuff, which I'm gonna make small legs coming off of these 2x4s. All right, just a quick update. So this is what I ended up with. A lot of it you've already seen. So main thing is here, basically I went ahead and this is how I went ahead and did the corners. Just, you know, piece of 2x4, just the height of the picket. Basically I screw in 2 screws from inside here, and then 2 screws from the outside here. And again, that's why it's nice, because you're able to, until you put these pieces on here, you're able to remove these so that you can get in there and run screws and all that kind of stuff. Went ahead and put some 45s over here on this. Only thing I have not, actually come to think of it, the only thing I have not done yet, I'm just going to run 2 screws into the long boards that are going across, just 2 there, 2 there. But basically, other than that, everything is done. What I did here is, you got to remember these pieces are just actual pieces that are cut, that end right there. The middle piece is basically, well, actually at the moment, come to think of it, it's really not supported by anything. I mean, it's to be supported by this once I flip it over, but it's not actually attached to anything until I flip it over. I'll run 1 screw, through the middle into this, same over there, then that'll be done. But other than that, and so I have, I just cut these off at a 45, ran a screw down in here, I pre-drilled the hole to make sure I didn't split the wood here, and then basically just toe-nailed in one from this way going into the long board there, and then toe-nailed one in that way to hold this, basically hold this piece. And all 4 corners are the same with the 2x4 on the end, and then these 2x4s just go across, and basically they're screwed in right here. So other than that, I'll get it flipped over, get it in the cage, let you see what it looks like in there, so stay tuned. So here it is. For the most part leveled out. The ground is pretty unlevel underneath it, which you can kind of tell by looking at the cage. But yeah, it fits in there pretty snug. So I mean, opening the door is no problem. So yeah, now I got to build the house, little dog house to go in the back there, and then this will be complete.